7. The awful death of an infidel son. I will never be guilty of founding my hopes for the future upon such a compiled mess of trash as is contained in that book, the Bible, Mother. Talk of that's being the production of an infinite mind. A boy of 10 years of age, if he was half-witted, could have told a straighter story, and made a better book. I believe it to be the greatest mess of lies ever imposed on the public. I would rather go to hell, if there is such a place, than have the name of bowing to that impostor, Jesus Christ, and be dependent upon his merits for salvation. Beware, beware, my son, for God is not mocked. Although he beareth with the wicked long, yet he will not keep his anger forever. And all manner of sin shall be forgiven men, except the sin against the Holy Ghost, which has no forgiveness. And many are examples, both in sacred and profane history, of men who have been smitten down in the midst of their sinning against that blessed Spirit. Very well, Father. I'll risk all the cutting down that I shall get for cursing that book, and all the agonies connected therewith. Let it come. I am not at all scared. Oh, Father, lay not this sin to his charge, for he knows not what he does. Yes, I do know what I am about, and what I say, and mean it. John, do you mean to drive your mother raving distracted? Oh, my God, what have I done that this dreadful trial should come upon me in my old age? Mother, if you don't want to hear me speak my sentiments, why do you always begin the subject? If you do not want to hear it, don't ever broach the subject again, for I shall never talk of that book in any other way. The above conversation took place between two fond parents and an only son, who was at home on a visit from college, and now was about to return. And the cause of this outburst was, the kind-hearted Christian parents had essayed to give him a few words of kind admonition, which, alas, proved to be the last. And the above were his last words which he spoke to them as he left the house. How anxiously those fond parents looked after him, as though something told them that something dreadful would happen. What scalding tears were those that coursed their way down these furrowed cheeks. Oh, that they might have been put in a bottle of mercy. Poor wretched young man! It had been better for him that had the avalanche from the mountain crushed him beneath its deadly weight ere those words escaped his lips. Little did he think, he who said, "Honour thy father and thy mother," and he that hardeneth his heart and stiffeneth his neck shall suddenly be destroyed, and that without remedy, was so soon going to call him to give an account for those words, so heartrending to his aged parents, and so dreadful in the sight of a holy God. He had imbibed those dreadful principles from an infidel roommate at college. Beware, young men, with whom you associate, lest you fall as did this unfortunate man. John B. left his home and hastened to the depot, where he took the cars which were to bear him to M., where he was in a few months to finish his studies. The whistle blew, and away swept the cars across the trembling plain. But alas, they had gone but a few miles, when the cars, coming round a curve in a deep cut, came suddenly upon an obstruction on the track, which threw the engine and two of the cars at once from the rails. As fate would seem to have it, the wicked son, John B., was that moment passing between them. He was going between the cars. He was thrown in an instant from the platform, his left arm being broken and his skull fractured by the fall, and in an instant one of the wheels passed directly over both his legs near the body, breaking and mangling them in the most dreadful manner. Strange as it may seem, no one else was injured. The dreadful news soon reached his already grief-stricken parents, and ere long that beloved yet ungrateful son was borne back to them. not as he left, but lying upon a litter, a poor, mangled, raving maniac. Why these pious parents were called to pass through this dreadful trial, He whose ways are in the deep and past finding out only knows, except that by this sad example of his wrath many might be saved. Many skillful physicians were called, but the fiat of the Almighty had gone forth, and man could not recall it. When the news reached the college, his classmates hastened to see him. When they came, nature was fast sinking, but the immortal part was becoming dreadfully alive. Oh, that heart-rending scene! His reason, returning, brought with it a dreadful sense of his situation. His first words were, "And oh, may never mortal hear such a cry as that again upon the shores of time. Mother, I'm lost, 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 damned, damned, damned forever!" And as his classmates drew near to the bed, among whom was the one who had poisoned his mind with infidelity, with a dreadful effort he rose in the bed and cried, as he fixed his glaring eyes upon him, "J, you have brought me to this. You have damned my soul. May the curses of the Almighty and the Lamb rest upon your soul forever." Then, like a hellish fiend, he gnashed his teeth, and tried to get hold of him that he might tear him in pieces. Then followed a scene from which the strongest fled with horror, but those poor parents had to hear and see it all, for he would not suffer them to be away a moment. He fell back upon his bed, exhausted, crying, "Oh, mother, mother, get me some water to quench this fire that is burning me to death." Then he tore his hair and rent his breast. The fire had already begun to burn, the smoke of which shall ascend up forever and ever. And then, again, he cried, "Oh, mother, save me! The devils have come after me. Oh, mother, take me in your arms, and don't let them have me." And his mother drew near. And as his mother drew near him, he buried his face in that fond bosom which had nourished and cherished him, but alas, could not now protect or shield from the storm of the Almighty's wrath, for he had turned from her. And with an unearthly voice he shrieked, "Father! Mother! Father, save me! They come to drag my soul to hell!" And with his eyes starting from their sockets, he fell back upon his bed a corpse. The spirit had fled, not like that of Lazarus, borne on the wings of a convoy of angels, but dragged by fiends to meet a fearful doom. May his dreadful fall prove a warning to those who would unwittingly walk in the same path. Ernest Christian, September 1867.